A few days ago, Gillette launched their newest ad campaign, The Best a Man Can Be. It's headlined by a 1 minute and 48-second video that directly calls out the issue on toxic masculinity.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get?
This ad was able to get more than 5 million views in a span of 24 hours. And in that moment, it also became the most hated piece of advertising of thousands of men.
GIllette is drawing fire for a Me Too themed commercial that challenges toxic masculinity.
Well, it's just stupid, right? I mean, the entire ad is insulting the very people who are their customers, and I'm getting really sick and tired of men in this country being demonized because of the behavior of other men.
So let's point out all the bad things that you might say about men, put them into an ad, make men feel horrible, and then say, overpay for a razor.
You've cheated, you've abused, you're bullies. But come and buy my razor. What are you going to do with that? Here's what you're going to do with it.
How aggressive do you want to
Exactly.
From being a 100-year-old brand that is seldom talked about online, Gillette became an overnight sensation, with Google Trends data pointing towards a peak in online interest that the brand has never experienced before. Unfortunately, with people's overwhelming reactions around the campaign, it was obviously for the wrong reasons, as proven by the negative comments in the video and the amount of dislikes the video had gotten. And though some may argue that negative publicity is still publicity, also have to remember that it is also negative. Which is a shame, because coming up with an ad like this comes at no cheap cost or effort, and they would have had a greater positive impact if only they stayed conscious of a few key marketing principles. And so we ask, in this controversial ad, where did Gillette go wrong? There are 4 fundamental learnings that we can get from Gillette's recent campaign, and each one, when addressed, could have made the ad more compelling and more positively received. First, never villainize your target audience. Gillette's business is built around selling to males, but despite this, they actually decided to still portray men in a bad light, starting their video with the premise that men today are in a bad and toxic state. Although some may argue that there are scenes serving to positively teach how a man should be like, the fact is, bulk of the ad is actually dedicated more to showing the negative side of men, which a lot of people correctly argue don't really represent the majority of the male populace. What they could have done is to completely focus on the positive side of their audience, celebrating a more aspirational type of masculinity. This is something that a brand called Elgar Watches cleverly played on, renaming their YouTube ad video as a response to Gillette, allowing their once obscure brand to get millions of views in a matter of days. Better yet, Gillette could have taken inspiration from their old iconic ad, Best a Man Can Get, but instead of celebrating the traditional duties of men as the 1989 commercial did, maybe they could have shown a more modern take on how it is to be a man today, helping in housework, being a single parent, and if they're brave enough, they could have shown couple dads and celebrate as well their role as men, since whatever your form of masculinity is, you're still essentially Gillette's consumer base as long as you need a razor. Number 2. Always have a product role. This is something that several brands really miss when it comes to ads like this. In the pursuit of getting a video to be viral, we often forget to integrate our product into the story, producing hollow ad materials that don't really sell the product, but are just generally fun to watch and share. This is fully evident in the Gillette ad, because nowhere in that video can you see their razors. In hindsight, Gillette would have been in the perfect position to insert their product in this type of ad, because when you talk about the best that a man can become, there is no symbol stronger of a boy's transition to manhood than getting your first razor, something that almost every male human being has to go through. Gillette's razors could have been positioned as a symbol and reminder for how a man should be like, connecting to our first point of celebrating positive masculinity. 3. If you decide that your brand will have a social mission, ensure follow-through. Gone are the days when brands can just release socially relevant ads and just leave it like that. Consumers are smarter, If you're daring enough to advocate social change, you have to walk the talk and actually do something to fix that social issue. Else you'll be accused of piggybacking on your advocacy's relevance just to generate more business. And to be fair to Gillette, if you go to their site, they actually talk about donating $1 million per year to nonprofits that inspire, educate, and help men achieve the best they can be, with their first partner being the Boys and Girls of America, an organization focusing on helping the youth be set for the future. But nowhere in the ad can you see this being talked about at all. Last but not the least is that Gillette actually has bigger problems in their marketing mix apart from their communications. Gillette's market share was 70% back in 2010. In 2016, that number is down to 54%, mainly due to disruptive competitors, the most notable of which is Dollar Shave Club, offering subscription-based razor deliveries, whose launch video has gone viral back in 2012. Gillette wasn't exactly quick to react to the threat, having launched a competing service called Gillette Shave Club only 3 years later by 2015. There are also concerns about the premium price they're charging when compared to their product's performance, which are all vital components of the marketing mix that are as important, if not more so, than an effective advertising campaign. And so now, the dust is starting to settle for Gillette after being under fire from several fronts. As per Gillette's official statement, they deemed the campaign still successful, only if people now think more about fixing the issue on toxic masculinity. But although they did drive conversation, you can't avoid the fact that this campaign, and the amount of negative backlash it had, will forever be imprinted on Gillette as a brand. And only time will tell if people who threaten to boycott the brand really do so, and if sales and shares will fall sharper than before. But at least what we can do is learn a thing or two about Gillette and their controversial campaign.